Today we're going to cook up some killer tri-tip chili, so stick around. Hey, thanks for stopping in and checking out Go Outside and Cook. I appreciate you guys being here. So recently I was contacted by the company that makes the Simpot by Symfonio, and evidently it's a similar product, I guess, to the Instapot. It's a pressure cooker, slow cooker, yada yada yada. So ironically, I happened to be in the market for one, so I was kind of looking at different options. I thought maybe it would be something that would kind of help me get some of my sides that take longer to cook done. Typically you don't see me cooking on electronic stuff. I'm usually in the Dutch oven or maybe on the stove top, and of course out here with the barbecue pits. But I thought, with the pressure cooking capabilities, doing things like dry beans and stuff like that, it might speed the process up when I'm making sides. So anyway, I said, yeah, send it to me, let me take a look at it and use it. If it's something that I find useful, decent quality, and it's going to do what I want it to do, and I feel good recommending it, then I'll go ahead and put a review out on it. And so that's what I'm doing. Obviously, it passed the test for me. I think it's a decent quality product, and so I'm going to go ahead and make up some chili in here, and I'll show you how it works. Okay, so the Simpot comes with a twist-off lid. Just gives a little turn like that, and it comes up just like that. And inside, you'll get this little basket with legs on it, so you can put things that you don't want to have submerged in liquid to cook. And then you got an 8-quart pot that sits down in there. Okay, so let me go ahead and show you the ingredients we're going to use for our chili and how we're going to get it started. Okay, so what I've got here is I've got a whole tri-tip, about a medium-sized tri-tip, and I did a very coarse grind through my meat grinder with it after removing the fat cap. I've got some red bell peppers. Normally I like to use a more of a spicy red pepper, but I got sissies eating here tomorrow, so we're gonna go easy. I've got a large white onion, coarsely chopped. I've got about 9 ounces of soft chorizo here. I got salt, pepper, granulated garlic, chili powder, cayenne pepper, roasted cumin, some thyme. I've got a cup of dry pintos and a cup of dry kidney beans, and a good stout microbrew. 2 cups of water. So the onions, the peppers are going to bring in the sugars that we need in chili to make it savory and not sweet. I mean, you can add sugar into a chili to kind of counterbalance the salty taste of it, and if you get a good balance. But really, this large onion and this large red bell pepper is going to bring in just a perfect balance of sweetness to make it a very, very savory. So we'll go ahead and we'll get this Simpot into saute mode, and we're going to start with the chorizo. We're going to cook this chorizo down so it really renders the fat out. Okay, chorizo's cooked down to about where we want it. Now we're going to deglaze it. About a cup of this stout beer. That'll just help us release that stuff off the bottom. That's all good stuff that sticks to the bottom like that. Nice. Okay. Now we're going to bring in the tri-tip. We'll just stir this around, let the heat come back up, and we're going to brown this tri-tip up real good with that chorizo. Now this is a beef chorizo I'm using. You can use pork if you want. Okay, so we'll let that get to simmering. Okay, at this point, our meat's getting good and brown, rendering some juices. We're going to go ahead and we're going to bring in the dry ingredients. So I'm just using a tablespoon for measuring, and I'm going to do, like I said, we got some sissies coming over tomorrow, so I'm going to put a little cayenne pepper in there, but just a little bit, maybe half a teaspoon. Normally I would put at least a teaspoon in. And then our chili powder. I'm going to do 3 teaspoons of chili powder. I mean, this says chili, right? So we'll put that in there. I'm going to do a teaspoon of garlic powder. I'm sorry, a tablespoon of garlic powder. This is all tablespoons. And about a third of a tablespoon of thyme. And a very important ingredient, and that's cumin. If you don't have cumin, you don't got chili, guys. It's not going to be right. So I'm going to put about a level tablespoon of cumin in there. We might adjust that even more later on. Everything's subject to being adjusted once we get out of pressure on this thing. So we'll do a tablespoon of salt and about a half a tablespoon of pepper. That's our dry ingredients. We'll go ahead and stir that around. Get it mixed in there real good and even. Okay. Alright, so we'll go ahead and add in our peppers. And what probably seems to you like way too many onions. But these onions, after cooking 2 hours under pressure, are going to pretty much liquefy. And like I said, it's going to provide the natural sugar that we need in our chili, so that it doesn't taste like sweet chili, but it has a nice balance. Get all that stuff moved around. And like I said, these dry ingredients that I put in, we may be adjusting those later, but here's the thing. When you're cooking in a pressure cooker, you're cooking in a sealed environment, so you've got moisture leaching out of your food. And you're also adding liquid in there, and that's going to go to a super steam, and it's going to be trapped in there. Nothing is going to be able to evaporate out. And so what that means is you don't get to reduce the liquid. And good chili requires a good reduction for a good sauce inside your chili. So we're going to have to open this back up after the fact, and we're going to have to reduce it down. So we've got all this in here now simmering. I'm going to add in just a can, juice and all, of diced tomatoes. See, this is I think it's a 14 and a half ounce can. I'm going to stir that in. I'm going to eyeball it. I may add more. Let's see what we got. Yeah, see, I think another can's gonna work in there. So I have that handy. Let's get it in there. So we'll mix that around. And then our beans are going in. So I've got a cup of kidneys, a cup of pintos, and because beans are going to require the moisture, we're going to add a couple cups of water. Now if I was making this on a stovetop, I'd probably add a couple more cups of water, and then add water as it cooks down, as it reduces, just keeping the moisture in it until those beans are at the texture that I want them to be. But I think this is going to work out just fine. We're going to go ahead and put the lid on. You can see it's complaining right now because it knows I put the lid on and it's not in the right mode. So I'm going to go ahead and cancel that program. And then I'm going to move it over to pressure cook. I'll select it and then I'll set my time for 2 hours. Okay, so we're in cook mode. So it's immediately going to start warming the inside up and getting all those liquids to steaming, and eventually it'll seal off back here and it'll start to build pressure and it'll maintain its temperature to get just the perfect pressure. You could cook this probably in an hour if you do an hour pressure cook, and then you let it rest down and depressurize on its own, which could be up to another hour, another hour. So, but I'm going 2 hours because my expectations in my chili, I really want the tri-tip to lose all of the collagen. I just want it to melt out. I want it to become silky, tender, and just kind of become part of the overall thing. So we're going to let it do 2 hours, plus I'm going to let it do a natural rest down and depressurization, and then we'll go to doing any reducing if that's what we need to do. So I'll see you back here in a couple hours. Okay, 2 hours of cooking. I went ahead and shut it off after it finished cooking, and I let it go ahead and just naturally depressurize. I've already taken a peek, but after I saw what was inside, I said, wait a minute, let me get the cameras out so I can show these folks what we did. So let's take a look here. Oh, look at that. Good stuff. So there you have it. Get close up with the beans. Yeah, so it smells amazing. The beans are all completely hydrated and soft like they should be. Texture of the meat looks like it's right. Still pretty hot here. It's excellent. You guys got to give this a shot. Now, you don't have to have a pressure cooker to do it in. Like I said, I do this in Dutch ovens all the time. Just keep it simmering till you get the texture in those beans that you want, the texture of the meat that you want. It's a great recipe. Like I said, I like a little more heat in it, but we got sissies and kids tomorrow, so this is going to work just fine for them. Thanks for hanging out with me. I appreciate you guys. Until next time, go outside and cook.